Friends, today we are going very deep into the dark abyss that is my mind. So, probably get some popcorn or something, because this is gonna be a ride. Hey guys, this is Morg here. Today I am talking about, what is the title of this video? Combating internal anxiety post-Mormonism. Yeah, that title turned out to be a banger. If you're new to my channel, basically I grew up Mormon, I left Mormonism, and this channel talks a lot about kind of the emotional stuff that you deal with after leaving a high demand religion. And now in my videos, I largely talk about kind of deconstructing what the unhealthy conditioning that, is still plaguing my life. So, all right, first as a disclaimer, just want to point out that, the longer I have this channel, the more vulnerable I get in the videos and the more I regret it. But I think it's a good thing. It's hard putting your really real feelings out there for really real people to judge. Really real judgmental people. I'm just kidding. Most of you guys are super nice to watch these. But it's still really difficult, and I just wanted to say thanks to everyone who's giving me a lot of positive support as I talk about this stuff that's really near and dear to my heart, because it makes me feel really gross talking about it. But I'm also really proud of myself, because it's like I want to talk about it, but then I get all squeamish because I'm like, oh, people know about my feelings. God. Anyway, so thanks for hanging in there, and I hope that you're finding these videos helpful. Okay, so backstory first, because, what good story doesn't have a backstory to it? The short answer is none, I'm pretty sure. When I was a teenager, I had a lot of, internal anxiety, and when I talk about that, what I mean is, I put a lot of pressure on myself to do well, to succeed, to impress people, I guess. I also kept myself really busy because I felt like being busy meant I was important. And I was just constantly overwhelmed, and everything in my life felt very urgent. I had a lot of panic attacks as a teenager, and I didn't really understand why. And now that I'm learning more about myself, I'm starting to kind of understand why my brain works the way that it does, and I'm trying to learn to fix it, and it's really good, but also really painful. Yeah, so here we go. Recently, I've been realizing that I stress out about a lot of things very needlessly, and I make everything in my life feel very urgent. Whether it's doing the dishes or changing a diaper or editing a video. God. It's I can't help but feel like all these things are majorly urgent. Not just important, but they have to be done right now or the world will explode. God. And I've been trying to kind of get to the root of this and try to help change it, because I realize that I get stressed out about things that there's no reason to stress out about. If I'm driving somewhere and I'm 2 minutes late, I'm having gotta drive fast. Even if it's to just go hang out with a friend, and I'm trying to deconstruct that and realize whoa, I am just way too freaked out over things that I don't need to be freaked out over. What is going on? So I've been dealing with this my whole life, but it's always been under the radar. I think I've spent most of my life focused on the problem of the day. And what I mean by the problem of the day is whatever's right in front of me has all of my attention. And so I didn't spend a lot of time looking deeper within myself and asking myself how I'm doing and what's going on and why are these issues triggering me, or what do I need right now? And as I'm kind of going within and trying to understand myself, I mean, it's a mess, but it's good, I guess, You just got to do what you got to do. So it's been hard looking at it and just realizing, and like I just have been spending time in the last several months just noticing how often I get worked up over something that I consider to not really be that big of a deal. And it's just been nearly constant. Like there's always something that's grabbing my attention with this urgency, and it just makes me feel like I'm constantly drowning. Like there's just all these things that need to be done and there's not enough time, and I can't relax. It's really hard for me to relax and just do nothing. I'm like, I don't even know how to do nothing. I don't even know what that would look like. And I'm getting better, but it's a very deep retraining of my brain that's going on. So as I've been learning more about myself, I think what I've been noticing that partially explains why my brain thinks the way that it does is some of these following reasons. So one being growing up Mormon, there was so much pressure and emphasis put on perfectionism and busyness. And it was a way to show your worth, like to prove your worth, to show you were important. Like if I'm constantly busy, I must be important. I must be doing productive, good things, because why else would I be so busy? And then there's that perfectionism, like we're all striving to become like Jesus. And there's this pressure of like, you have to do everything right and you have to do it the right way. And you have to, not be slothful. I think the Bible says that. And all of this in my mind was internalized as like, this is how you're supposed to be a person. You're just supposed to be like a train and you just go, 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 go. And you don't stop and you don't take breaks and you don't do nothing. As hard as I've tried to be that train in my life, it often derails into oblivion because you can only go, go, go for so long until all of your organs and combust. So, but really though, like just until you break down, because no one can just keep going like that crazy hard paced forever. We only have so much energy and willpower to keep that up. I think another reason why I struggle with this is because I wasn't solid on my own personal identity. So I was really wrapped up in trying super hard to live out these other identities, like being a super good Mormon or being a super good wife or mom or whatever. And like exhausting myself and doing those things because I wasn't actually feeling fulfilled inside with myself. It was a coping thing. It was like, I don't have to think about who I am or how I'm not getting what I want out of life if I just am super focused on just living out these kind of like smaller identities. Like small. You guys, maybe you get what I'm saying. I don't know. Anyway, so I was talking to my therapist recently. Yay for therapy. And I was talking about how discouraged I felt because I was like, I've been working so hard on myself. I've been journaling and I've been doing all this stuff. And I've been doing it for a long time and I still just feel like I'm so broken. Like there's so many things that are wrong with me and it's like so clear to see, and it bothers me that I like can't live my life the way I want to because I just feel trapped still. I still feel trapped with my own issues and feeling overwhelmed and all of that. And she basically said something to the effect of, you need to be more comfortable with being uncomfortable. And I was like, bitch, I am so comfortable with being uncomfortable. Look how full my journal is of all my discomfort. I didn't quite say it in those words, but it was something like that. And she pointed out to me that just because I'm journaling a lot doesn't mean that I'm being present with the emotions. She said there's a difference between just like writing it down to try to get rid of it and like actually deeply processing it and being there with it. And when I say it, I'm talking about my feelings, my issues, my insecurities, like basically all those things. And so I was thinking a lot about what she said because I feel like I'm someone who spends a lot of time thinking about my feelings. And I also spend a lot of time avoiding my feelings. But I think I spend a lot more time thinking about my feelings than like a normal, like average person would, because I've been learning how important it is. But I know that even though I've progressed a lot, that she was right. And here's why I know she was right. Because I was having this meditation the other day. And when I meditate, just for anyone who's curious, like I usually just sit there and just think about my feelings. Because that's how I like to do it. Sometimes I'll play music and I try to visualize my feelings a lot of times, like through metaphors and things like that. I find it super helpful. So if anyone's interested and you're like, oh, meditation sounds so scary. No, just like sit there and feel your feelings. It's actually really, really important and beneficial because we're all just used to distracting ourselves from them and then freaking out. Anyway. Okay, so I was meditating and I was thinking about specifically some issues that I was having that reminded me of issues with my mom. And for those who've been watching my channel for a while, you know, I had a lot of issues with my mom growing up, and it's a lot that I'm still trying to unpack. So immediately when I realized the issue I was kind of meditating on reminded me of like being upset with my mom and being angry at my mom, I got very, very frustrated with myself. Because I don't want to go there anymore. I feel like I've spent years being upset with my mom because of things that happened when I was a kid and a lot of trauma that I experienced. And I'm just like tired of feeling that way. I'm tired of that story. I'm tired of like processing that pain and that anger and all that. I was like, okay, clearly this is not something I can control. Like, if I'm not over it, I'm not over it. So I was having this conversation with myself. We're going deep, guys, okay? Having this conversation with myself about being frustrated with myself for being frustrated with my mom or my mom issues. And I was talking to myself and I was saying, okay, if you're not done being mad at your mom for this issue, that's okay. And immediately, the voice inside my head like snapped back and said, I don't believe you. And I really fell apart at that point because I realized that I have a lot of broken self-trust because I push myself really hard to get over issues instead of being patient with myself. Dealing with negative stuff in our lives is really hard, but it's much, much harder when we combat it with this, like, you shouldn't feel that way, or you should just get over it, or you've already cried enough about that thing and you just need to move on. We make it so much harder to heal and to move forward. I really think I'm coming into the idea that our emotions are not something that we can control. And so we should probably stop shaming them, because that shame just perpetuates even more discomfort in our daily lives. Instead of just being like, oh, I'm feeling that way. I wonder why I'm feeling that way. I wonder why this is still bothering me. I wonder what I can, what I need to do to help, make the situation better for myself. Instead of just like, God, Morgan, just get over it. Which is what is happening internally for me generally. I don't like that about myself. I don't like how impatient I am with myself. But I also know that I did not have a healthy demonstration of how to handle your feelings growing up. So I'm trying to be patient with myself, realizing that not only am I trying to unlearn the bad things I learned as a kid, but I'm also trying to learn the right way to do things and to implement it in a way that is much healthier. I've been learning about myself recently how hard it is for me to just be present and to be in the moment, whether it's with a good feeling or a bad feeling. Being in the present scares me. It's like I'm just afraid of getting hurt. It's like I just feel very unsafe in life. And I know that it's because my foundation as a child was felt very unsafe for several reasons. And I have to keep reminding my brain that I don't live there anymore and that I'm safe now. And that helps, but it's still hard. It doesn't just go away overnight like I wish it would. Please. I think part of the reason why I feel constantly like everything is so urgent in my life is because I feel like I've missed out on so much. Like leaving Mormonism and all of the baggage I brought from my unhealthy childhood just feels like it's put such a damper in my life. Like it's really held me back from connecting with people, from loving myself, from having fun, from doing things in life that I genuinely want to do and that are good. And I'm so frustrated that I've missed out on so much. I think that's another thing that makes everything feel urgent. It's like I have to make up for all this lost time. And I can't. And that's okay. It doesn't feel okay. But, what else do I have? I told my therapist about that, actually. And recently she said a cool response. And she said, it's not like you haven't been having good times despite all of these bad things happening. You've still been having good times. And just celebrate those good times and know that things will keep getting better. Don't just cloud everything in darkness just because you wish there was more good that could have happened. And I really liked that. Because I have had really good experiences in my life, despite all of the issues that I've been confronting. So one of my favorite tips that my therapist has given recently as I've been unpacking all of this and dealing with my own personal frustration with myself and trying to be more patient with myself and with my feelings was she said, focus every day on something that went well or some sliver of progress. Point out to yourself those moments where you see that you did something better than what you would have done a month ago or 2 months ago or 3 years ago, and celebrate that instead of focusing so hard on how far you have to go. Because I put myself in this hell of like comparing myself to this like perfect standard that, well, frankly doesn't exist, right? And in this perfect standard that I want to be so bad, probably just because like I think I'll deserve good things at that perfect standard or I'll be important. Those are big core issues for me, is like feeling important and feeling like I'm worthy of love or of people's time and things like that. Anyway, so I think I'm looking for this gold standard where I can finally feel that way. And then I see all these issues in between and I overwhelm myself just with feeling like there's just way too much crap to trudge through and just what's the point? And it really shuts my brain down. Like the minute I have a bad reaction to something or I get too frustrated with something, it's like my brain just shuts down. Just like, what's the point? Like clearly I don't have my shit together and I just never will. And it's bad. I don't like that. But again, I'm trying to learn to combat it with some healthier ways to handle things. So that advice she gave me has been super helpful and I've been doing that. I've been trying to focus really hard on my growth instead of focusing on how far I want to grow or whatever. And it's been very healing for me. It's also been very difficult because there is this part of me that's like, I don't want to focus on appreciating the moment because I haven't done everything. It's this weird perfectionist thing. It's like if I haven't done it all, I can't rest and I can't celebrate and I can't appreciate. And it's so unhealthy. So unhealthy. And it's really hard to stay motivated when you're not willing to give yourself any kind of positive feedback ever. So I've been working on it and I've been trying to celebrate myself more And when I feel discouraged, I let myself feel discouraged, but I also try to point out things that I'm happy about, things that I'm grateful for. And even if I don't do something to the extent that I wish that I could, I will celebrate that I tried, which is cool. And I think it's been really healing for me. So one example of like a positive moment from the other day was I was playing with my son, and he's 3, and he's adorable. And he has his little dinosaurs, you know, and he knows the names of a bunch of them. But then, of course, there's a few we don't know the names to. And I was just really in the moment with him. And I was just chilling, and we were hanging out, and we were Googling the names of the dinosaurs that he didn't know the names of, that we both didn't know the names of. And we were trying to memorize them. And they are very difficult to say. Like, did you know this dinosaur is called a Parasaurolophus? Parasaurolophus. Something like that. Anyway, I was just really in the moment with him, just Googling these names of the dinosaurs, and it was super cute because even when we would Google them, we would forget the name because they were really hard to say. And so then we have to Google them again. And it was just adorable. And it was just a really special moment that I had with my son. And I really cherished that moment. And I was really proud of it later as I was looking back on it, because it was a really special moment that I had with him. And it was because I was able to be very present and in the moment with him. Because my brain is very trained to, what do I need to be getting done right now? How can I be productive today? What all should I be spending my time doing? Like, I'm always focused on trying to get stuff done. I struggle to be present. And not always, like I have good present moments. I don't have them as much as I really would like to. So this was a beautiful moment where I was just with him. I wasn't thinking about what I needed to get done. And it was a beautiful moment. And I'm glad we had that moment. And I am celebrating that moment. And knowing that as I celebrate that moment, I can have more moments like that. And that I can be more patient with myself as I'm trying to move forward. In the midst of making everything so urgent in my life, I even make my own healing so urgent. Like, I need a journal every day to make sure that I'm getting all my problems solved. And it's just that urgency. It's not working for me. I'm just tired of it. I'm ready for, I don't know, something better, something smoother and more self-fulfilling than just this like, Yeah. I swear to God, I will end this video eventually. But I have one more thing to say. I am trying out the new mantra, good things take time. And I hate it. But I think it's really good for me. And it's bringing more of a sense of calm into my life. And it's reminding me that maybe life isn't a race. And maybe you can live life better if you don't treat it like a race. Well, thank you guys for voyaging deep into the depths of my soul. And I hope you found this video helpful. And if you want to stick around, probably hit the like button, subscribe button, and I'll see you guys around. Peace.